Kính thưa quý vị, trước hết đây tôi xin tự giới thiệu, tôi là Richard Armitage, bạn bè ở Việt Nam đặt tên tôi là Trân Nhân Phú. Bây giờ thì tôi xin quý vị cho phép tôi gói lại thăm bạn bè ngày xưa, nhất là những người lính tôi đi chung chết sống với nhau. Tôi đã thấy rõ ràng cái sự can đảm, cái sự danh dự của những người phục vụ trong quân đội Việt Nam Cộng Hòa. Đây quý vị cho phép tôi kể chuyện này. Mà có một ngày tôi đến thăm một chi đoàn bộ binh Hoa Kỳ, mời chỉ huy trưởng là chi đoàn trưởng ông chuyên chiến cho tôi. Tôi thấy tên của ông, tôi hỏi có phải ông là người Việt Nam không? Dạ, tôi phải. Tôi hỏi ông có biết nói không? Con biết nói không? Này, có, không biết nói chứ. Tôi bắt thải của ông trung tá. Tôi nói là tôi rất muốn cảm ơn ông. Ông hỏi, ủa, cảm ơn cái gì? Tôi nói là tôi muốn cảm ơn ông vì ông đã nhất định là làm trong quân đội Hoa Kỳ để giúp cho nước này sẽ luôn luôn mạnh khỏe. Vì quý vị đã quyết định sống ở bên này để giúp cái nước của chúng ta, mà tôi biết chắc chắn là cái nước của chúng ta vì có những người Việt Nam ở đây sẽ luôn luôn tự do và độc lập. Tôi xin cảm ơn. Dear friends, first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Richard Armitage. My friends in Vietnam gave me the name Trân Văn Phú. Most important of all, I want to send special greetings to my friends from former days, especially those who were serving in the Vietnamese Armed Forces, that is the Armed Forces of Vietnam Cộng Hòa, the Republic of Vietnam. I have seen firsthand and clearly the courage and the honor of the soldiers of the Republic of Vietnam. I want to tell you a story, if I may. A few years ago, I was traveling in Iraq, and I was going here and there, and I went to visit some units in the Army. And I went to see a particular battalion, and the battalion commander, a lieutenant colonel, greeted me and briefed me. And I saw that the name on his chest appeared to be Vietnamese, and I asked him, "Are you Vietnamese?" And he said, "Yes, sir," he was. And I asked him if he could still speak Vietnamese. He said, yes, he could. And then I took his hand, shook his hand, and thanked him for serving in the armed forces of the United States and keeping our nation safe and strong. And I also want to say the same thing to you, dear friends, who are listening to this. I want to thank you for making the decision to live here, because I am sure that that decision will help our nation, to always be strong, free, and with strength. So thank you for that decision.
Thank you. Appreciate the time that you spent with us.
Not at all. Not at all. I was very fortunate to have almost 6 years in Vietnam. For me, even though there was some terrifying times, they were good years. To have the good fortune, because heaven or somebody blessed us at the fall, 30 tháng 4, 75. Met up with Captain Jacobs, and the rest is history.
I get a call from the Fleet Admiral Whitmire, and says, "I'm going to send you an emissary. You take your orders from him." Yes, sir. He comes up in his sports jacket with a rusty old 45 in his belt, and said, "We're going back to Vietnam." I said, "Yes, sir."
Group of people such as Vietnamese Americans.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to second that. Last year when I went out there, I'd probably given 80 briefings. I met various organizations in Northern Virginia, all over this country. And I got to say, I'm quite impressed when I look at what the Vietnamese have done in the short 37 years. And I chastised them last year and said, I think you should call yourselves American Vietnamese, because I'm an American. I'm proud of what you guys have done.
Thank you, sir.
Well spoken.
And set it aside from other so-called different minority groups and so forth.
One of the strengths of our country is that we allow and indeed encourage other nationalities to not only join us as citizens, but we encourage them to keep their own customs, culture, and language where possible. The only thing that the United States requires of citizens who come here is that they accept our national values. And I think our national values are not unlike the values that existed before 30 April 1975 in Vietnam. They're quite similar. So I think in a way the assimilation of the Vietnamese community into America has been aided greatly because the values that we have and Vietnam of pre-1975 had were quite similar.
Thank you, and on behalf of, again, thank you, Captain Jacob.
Thank you. I said that my friends had given me the name Trân Văn Phu.
Yes.
Now why is that? Who knows why? It wasn't just made up, there's a reason to it.
Yeah, that's why actually I came here to ask you that question. You know, I had a question here, Trân Văn Phu. So.
Well, Trân is the patron, Trân Hanh Đạo,
Yes.
the patron saint of the Vietnamese Navy. Dân là dĩ nhiên là đàn ông, con trai.
Yeah. That's my middle name also.
Dĩ nhiên. Phú.
Phú.
Thì tên thôi là Rich.
Oh, Rich.
Phú là Phú Quý.
Phú Quý.
Nó là tên là Phú.
Yeah.
Thành thứ ra là Thích. Thích. Kinh muốn gọi Thích. Tôi phải là người đầu tiên vào nhà. Hồi ở Việt Nam kia là mệt quá đi. 4-5 giờ sáng đã có dân ra rồi. Rồi, ok. Cảm ơn nhé.
Xin cảm ơn. Thank you.